going on, everybody? Happy New Year. Welcome one and all to the Non-Negotiables podcast. What a week. What a week we've had. You guys know what's going on. If you're watching this podcast, I'm not exactly mainstream. You guys know everything that's happening. Parler shut down. Trump deplatformed. It is an absolute all-out assault on the right wing. An all-out assault. And in usual fashion, as is the agreed-upon norm, the Republicans have no idea how to fight back. They don't have the first clue on how to fight this war. This whole thing with the Capitol is obviously an overblown, insanely overwrought, overly exaggerated issue. The notion that this was disgusting, like Ben Shapiro, little Ben Shapiro. The events of the Capitol were disgusting. It was just horrible, horrible. He condemned a handful of supposedly Trump supporters, more than likely agitators, kicking a few windows in, pushing open a door. Now there's new video of one guy beating a cop. Maybe two guys, but I think the guy next to him also got a few licks in. A group of protesters pushing against a group of police that were holding them back. Conservative estimates are that there was 300,000 people at the Trump rally. You end up with 180 of them that walked into the Capitol proper, and call it another 50 that engaged in some sort of physical violence. You had a window and a bookshelf broken. Few papers thrown about. And that little prick, that propeller beanie wearing little prick, condemns the Trump supporters harder than he ever condemned BLM. It's disgusting. I have a video coming out about Tim Pool. Tim Pool, and when he had 50,000 subscribers, I said, watch this guy. This is going to be the guy to watch. He's the one that's going to bring the Democrats. He's going to educate the Democrats. He's going to bring them over to Trump's side. Back when he was saying, I will never vote for Trump, one of my most viewed videos on the On the Mark channel is one titled A Message to Tim Pool. It has over 50,000 views. In it, I said, Tim, you will vote for Trump. If you're intellectually honest, I don't see how you could not vote for Trump. And sure enough, it happened. But I'm going to make a video showing this once, although fence-sitting, brave individual, how he's gone into straight-up CYA mode. He's gone from, well, if I get banned, I'll go fishing by the river. He's gone to calling the happenings at the Capitol violence, horrible, insurrection. He got something like 33% downvoted on that video. And so today he's a lot more supportive. A lot more supportive. Doesn't want to lose his butter, which of course nobody does. So he's trying to hedge his bets. He's trying to equate the Trump supporters and protesters on the 6th with BLM. And that's what all of these people are doing. You see it far and wide. Republicans in the Senate and in Congress backing the Democrats' call to impeach Trump. Saying that Trump incited violence and insurrection. Of course, never mind that Trump said, let's walk over to the Capitol peacefully and cheer on the senators that are backing our cause. Even the strongest, most supportive of the senators out there, people like Cruz, they're not exactly backpedaling, but they sure as hell would like to be liked by the left. Ted Cruz is asking for peace. And AOC, the true believer, you gotta really love true believers. AOC said, nah, we want you expelled. We want you to resign. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. The title of this podcast is Democrats Are Not Hypocrites. And they're not. They're most certainly not hypocrites. See, it's something interesting about being a hypocrite. In order to be a hypocrite, you got to do the first step, which is you need to claim to have some sort of moral standard. There needs to be an evident, consistent standard, moral integrity standard by which you, at the very least, claim to be adhering to, and then your actions need to be such that they conflict or contradict those standards. The Democrats have no such standards, though. They never have. There is absolutely not a one of them that isn't ready, willing, and able to lie, cheat, steal, hide, destroy. Every single one of them lives by the ends justifies the means. And what do we see? With Republican after Republican, talking head after talking head, one after another, they're posting supercuts of the Democrats praising the BLM rioters. Those were rioters. Not what happened at the Capitol. That wasn't a riot. Praising the BLM riots. Standing in front of a burning building and calling it a mostly peaceful protest. And they post all these supercut videos all over the internet. Dinesh D'Souza posted one and said, oh, the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party is unbelievable. You're doing nothing with that. You're serving no purpose with that. You can't shame someone for their hypocrisy when they have no moral code, when they have no basic values. You have a Senate and a Congress filled with leftists, happy to lie about evidence, overwhelming evidence of Trump's obvious and dangerous ties to Russia. Schumer And that pencil neck prick Schiff going on the TV shows, beating his chest saying, I am on the Intelligence Committee. I have seen the evidence. That man is a puppet of Putin. And they were all lies. There was no evidence. Full exoneration. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we're not playing the same game. We don't have the same set of rules. This is not a war on an even field. So we sit there and we feel morally patted. We pat ourselves on the back for being consistent. If I hear one more moron, talking head prick, pat himself on the back for I've always been consistent. I call out the BLM riots, and I call out what happened at the Capitol too. I'm a consistent person, and always I see things evenly and consistently. I'm not a hypocrite. You're patting yourself on the back for taking a tack that is undoubtedly, inevitably, and without question going to lead to your defeat. And so what's the purpose of pointing out the quote-unquote hypocrisy of the left? Do you think that there is anyone, even one on the left, that will have a crisis of conscience because of it? Haven't you figured out yet that you're pointing and screaming and righteous indignation of their hypocrisy is never going to get on a mainstream media show? It's never going to be put out to the masses. Haven't you figured out yet that social media is not going to disseminate your supercut of Don Lemon praising BLM as they burn things down? And the reason it pisses me off, because you got to say, you know what, Mark, why are you so hyped up about it? I mean, what can it hurt? It can't hurt to point out the hypocrisy. It can't be bad, or it can't work against us to show that the left is filled with liars and immoral hacks. Why not post those supercuts? Why not point out the hypocrisy? I'm going to tell you why not. Because the fact that they are, the fact that they have even the slightest thought in their mind that they're dealing with a moral actor when they're dealing with the left, where pointing out their hypocrisy would bring shame to them. If they think that these shameless monsters are affected at all by your little supercut of Don Lemon and Cuomo and AOC and Kamala paying people's bail, etc., etc. If they're still posting this stuff, that means they haven't figured out yet who is on the other side of this field. They have not understood yet who their enemy is. I get riled up because it means that Dinesh D'Souza, by posting this supercut of their hypocrisy, in his heart, in his mind, still has hope, faith that there is at least one Democrat with a sliver of conscience, with a microscopic streak of integrity. And hope in that will lead to a crushing defeat. I say it all the time, Antifa, they say, they're starting the revolution. Antifa is marching in the streets and they're burning things, and BLM is burning things. That's the voice of the oppressed. And I said it back then, you cannot be oppressed and overweight. These people are not oppressed. These people are living home with mommy. They've got huge fat butts. And if they don't have fat butts, it's because they have huge coke and heroin addictions, which cost money. These people are not oppressed. They're not real revolutionaries. The moment they got the littlest, tiniest bit of pushback in Wisconsin, they were nowhere to be seen. Hope is the killer of a revolution. The belief that you're going to talk your way out of it, that you're going to somehow convince these despotic, authoritarian pricks by pointing out their hypocrisy, means that we will gain no ground, we will get nowhere. A real revolution happens when the people would rather die than live as they live any longer. Now you're talking about a revolution. Now you're talking about some really motivated revolutionaries. Now, I get it. This kind of conversation makes people nervous. Oh, wait, but Mark, you just uploaded a video saying that, non-violence was the key, that we're being goaded into aggressive acts. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about equal and opposite reactions to what the Democrats and the left are doing. Nancy Pelosi tried to stage a coup. Nancy Pelosi reached out to the military and said to them, hey, I want you to remove Trump's ability to access the nuclear codes. That is nothing less than a coup attempt. Why the hell hasn't every single Republican in the House and Senate drafted articles of impeachment against that rattle-toothed twat? Where's the outcry? Where's the demand that she be censured? She actually did commit a crime there. And there's not a word, not a whisper. Equal and opposite reaction. We know now that Pencil Neck Schiff lied in Congress during the hearings. Where's his censure? Where's the action? Where's the motivation, the need to get some payback? Gutless, spineless pricks! Cowards! Filth! Goddamn every one of them. They sit there and they talk big. Lindsey Graham, the lion, sits on his perch, looking down his nose at the Democrats, the hypocrites. Says, boy, y'all want power. I hope to God you never get it. Well, now they got it. Now they got it. You gutless worm. And they're never giving it back. Good for you. You feel like a statesman. Good for you. You feel like you're above it all. You won't go into these petty, bickering arguments and try to impeach someone on their attempted coup, because it's not going to get anywhere anyway, and all it's going to do is bring up the temperature. It's burning! Bring up the temperature. The place is on fire. But you get to feel like a statesman. You get to be the rational one, and, well, at least, I did my part. Ted Cruz, I called for peace. I did. I called for unity. Nice going, Ted. Nice going. Nice going. And what? We're not playing the same game here. The Republicans might be playing chess, but their opponent is playing MMA. It's hard to run the Queen's Gambit when your opponent's got you in an armbar. Now, I meant what I said. Winning, even if we win with some sort of hot civil war, is going to look and feel a hell of a lot like losing. I pray to God we don't allow ourselves to be continuously and consistently pigeonholed and thrown in a corner like they've been doing, like we've been letting them do. Because that is going to be the cry, the voice, the scream of the oppressed. Not what BLM did. Not a one of them knows the first thing of oppression. When the right can't say anything, do anything, go anywhere. When their avatar on Twitter is a MAGA cap, and that gets them put on a no-fly list. That's when things are going to get ugly. But we can avoid it. We can avoid it with equal and opposite reactions. Aggressive. Even if it's lies. Find some woman to come out and say that Chuck Schumer finger banged her last week on the subway. Do it! Plant an ounce of coke in Adam Schiff's locker at the congressional gym. I don't know what it's going to take, but damn it, do something. Or how about this? How about just fight back on the things we already know they're doing? All the things that we know that they did. The lies about Kavanaugh, the lies about Ukraine, the BS Russia collusion nonsense. Their collusion with Russia. The attempted coup with Nancy. Bottom line is, stop acting like some highbrow, above-it-all statesman. Stop the stupidity of pointing out Democrat hypocrisy. It just shows your ignorance. It just proves your misplaced hope and belief that you're dealing with a moral entity when you're dealing with the left. You're not. Start swinging politically, legally. Start turning the tables. Start fighting back. You want to bring down the temperature? The only way you do it is to turn up the heat on the other side. The only way to get conservatives to calm down and to feel like they're being heard and to feel like they're on a winning team is to have an all-out, full-court press against the left. And a relentless beating of the drum. There are a ton of allegations about Schiff being a pedo. I've heard them. I've been hearing them for years. Oh, but that's unproven, Mark, and you can't levy those kinds of allegations. You can't, I mean, it wouldn't be right without proof. I mean, you'd just be playing their game. Yes! Hallelujah! Yes! Thank you, you got it! You got it! Bottom line, it's their game to play. They're setting the rules. And if we want a seat at the table, then we better catch on. And we better catch on quick. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. I'm sorry if I blew out anybody's eardrum with the yelling. I tried to steer clear, but I just noticed my sound bar hit right a few times. I will be more conscious of it next time. I thank you all for listening, and I'll catch you all in the next one.